Hey guys, this is Mr. A. Crizzy here, and today I'm going to be doing a movie review, and today's on a Disney movie from 1950, and that is Cinderella. Now, the plot of this movie is basically where you got Cinderella, of course, who's basically like a slave, of course, like doing chores, who's basically doing chores and all that stuff, like led by her evil stepmother and two evil stepsisters. And then, of course, Cinderella is not allowed to go to this royal ball that's going to be happening. But then, of course, like a moment later, Cinderella's fairy godmother appears. Like, the fairy godmother basically turns her ruined clothes into a beautiful blue dress. And then, of course, and then the fairy godmother turns a pumpkin into a carriage and the mice into horses. And then of course, thanks to the fairy godmother, Cinderella actually goes to the royal ball. But then before Cinderella left, like the fairy godmother reminds Cinderella that when it's midnight, when the clock strikes 12 at midnight, like the spell will wear off and everything will turn back to the way they were in the first place. But then of course when Cinderella goes to the ball, she basically meets this prince, of course. But then when midnight first appeared, when the clock was about to strike midnight, like Cinderella actually ends up leaving the ball. But as when she was leaving, one of her glass slippers actually fell off, and then of course later on in the movie. Like the only way for the glass slipper to fit is it will fit on the person who will marry the prince as well. So, and then of course the glass slipper really fits perfect on Cinderella. And then of course the movie ends with Cinderella and the prince getting married and lived happily ever after. And there you have it. So that's the plot of Cinderella. Now, what do I think of it? Because I'm sure you guys already know what I think of the 1950 version of Cinderella. This is an all-time Disney classic and one of the best Disney movies of all time. Yeah, because I remember watching this movie when I was in elementary school, and it's honestly a really great Disney movie from 1950 when it first came out on March 4th, 1950. Even though some sources differ, but who cares? But yeah, so I have the DVD right here for the 1950 version of Cinderella. And yeah, and this movie has very, very good animation for like back in the old days of the hand-drawn animation. This movie had very good animation. It's got really great voice acting as well, and very good songs too. But just like the classic old-fashioned Disney movies from the past, like this movie's actually a very short movie because the running time is approximately 75 minutes. So it's a very short movie, like how Disney movies were back in the old days, like the 1961 version of 101 Dalmatians, one of my all-time favorites growing up. And yes, there is a live-action Disney remake from Disney back in 5 years ago. And I actually did see the live-action remake in theaters with my mom back in 2015. And I do think the live-action remake from 2015, I think the live-action remake's a good remake from Disney. Yeah, so I'm going to show you the disc here. It's just like some sort of Disney blank disc here, but this is what the disc looks like for Cinderella. But yeah, so because and I will say Cinderella is actually one of my favorite Disney movies of all time, because I got lots of favorite Disney movies of all time. I got lots of favorites from the past, of course, like Cinderella, and there's also Sleeping Beauty, 101 Dalmatians, and The Jungle Book, and Robin Hood, and the Aristocats. Because everything about this 1950 version of Cinderella, everything about this movie is very well made. Yeah, so overall, Disney's Cinderella from 1950 is a very good Disney animated movie from 1950. And I'm going to give Cinderella 5 out of 5 stars. And of course, and I definitely recommend checking this movie out if you're because I'm sure most of you guys have watched this movie as a kid, and if you feel like rewatching it just to bring back memories and nostalgia from your childhood, then I definitely recommend checking this movie out. And plus, I think it's also on Disney Plus too. Because yeah, I think the last time I remembered, Cinderella is definitely on Disney Plus. Same with the live action remake from 2015, 5 years ago, 2015. I think the sequels are also out on. I think the sequels are also there too. The sequels, because there's like direct video sequels. Like I know the first sequel is called Cinderella 2: Dreams Come True, which I've never really seen. Because I'm more into this movie. But yeah, so definitely check out Cinderella. Definitely check out this movie for like, for nostalgia, and it's definitely worth watching for diehard Disney fans out there. And that's gonna be it for my Disney animated movie review on Cinderella. And so that's gonna be it for this video. So make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. And as always, thanks for watching. And until next time, this is Mr. A. Crizzy saying goodbye, everybody, and that's about it.